Hello everyone, I'm Eric, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you again for joining me on this journey into the life, language, and legacy of Albert Einstein. In our last episode, we looked at how Einstein used simple but deeply meaningful English to explain his scientific ideas, clear, direct language that even non-scientists could understand. But today, we go one step further. This episode is about how Einstein's simple, deep, and powerful English shaped not just science, but the fate of the world. Let's begin with a question for you. Have you ever heard that a letter, written in Einstein's not-so-perfect English, played a part in the end of World War II? That letter, written in 1939, was addressed to U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt. In it, Einstein warned that Nazi Germany might be developing an atomic bomb, and urged the U.S. to begin research too. The message was brief, cautious, and urgent. He wrote, "In the course of the last 4 months it has been made probable, through the work of a number of scientists, that it may become possible to set up a nuclear chain reaction in a large mass of uranium. This new phenomenon would also lead to the construction of bombs, and it is conceivable, though much less certain, that extremely powerful bombs of a new type may thus be constructed." Einstein's English here is technical, but notice the tone, measured, modest, and serious. Words like possible, probable, conceivable. Not dramatic, but clear. That's Einstein. But this letter, powerful as it was, marked only the beginning of Einstein's role in world affairs. After the war, he deeply regretted the use of atomic weapons and became a voice for peace, justice, and freedom. And that's what leads us to the 2 speeches we'll hear today, speeches in which Einstein used English not to describe scientific theories, but to defend humanity itself. After the war, the world was full of people in exile, displaced from their homes by persecution or violence. Einstein, himself an exile from Nazi Germany, was invited to speak at a humanitarian event to support another intellectual who had been forced to flee. But Einstein didn't just speak about one man. He spoke about all people who suffer for the sake of truth and justice. Einstein bravely said about Nazi German atrocities against humanity in his first address to this audience.
We are concerned here with an act of humanity, with the maintaining of cultural values, and not least with a measure of considerable political importance. The effect upon all nations, and not least upon the Germans, of the fate of these innocent people, so maliciously persecuted, must not be underestimated. To leave these victims to their misery would be a heavy blow to all those who believe in human solidarity and would encourage those who believe only in force and oppression and who act accordingly.
Now, let's analyze what Einstein said in his speech. Clearly, he was not speaking as a scientist, he was speaking as a human being deeply troubled by injustice. Einstein gave this speech during a time when Nazi Germany was persecuting Jews and other innocent people. As a Jewish man who had to flee Germany himself, Einstein understood the danger of staying silent. In his speech, he says, "We are concerned here with an act of humanity." He is telling us that this is not just about politics or laws, it's about doing what is right for people who are suffering. These were people who had done nothing wrong, but were being hurt simply because of who they were. He also talks about the maintaining of cultural values. This means we must protect the values that make a society good, values like justice, fairness, and human dignity. Einstein warns that this is also a matter of considerable political importance. If we do not speak out, governments might think it's okay to abuse their power. He says, the effect upon all nations and not least upon Germans, must not be underestimated. This shows that the problem is not only in Germany, injustice affects the whole world. Then Einstein says something very serious: to leave these victims to their misery would be a heavy blow to all those who believe in human solidarity. He means that if we don't help, we hurt the people who believe in kindness and helping others. At worst, we give power to those who believe only in force and oppression. That means people who rule by violence and fear will feel stronger if no one stands up to them. Einstein's words were not just ideas, they were a warning. He had seen what hate and silence could do, and he was urging the world to act. In conclusion, Einstein gave this speech because he wanted the world to see what was happening and not look away. Furthermore, in a minute, we're going to look at Einstein's second famous speech. Einstein gave this speech at the Royal Albert Hall in London, a place where intellectuals from all over the world come together. We all know Einstein was a genius, but did you know his English was simple, yet so deep and powerful? To understand Einstein's important ideas and the depth of his simple English, we'll break down his second speech sentence by sentence. In the second speech, Einstein began.
I am glad that you have me given the opportunity of expressing to you here my deep sense of gratitude as a man, as a good European, and as a Jew. It cannot be my task today to act as judge of the conduct of a nation which for many years has considered me as her own. We are concerned not merely with the technical problem of securing and maintaining peace, but also with the important task of education and enlightenment. Without such freedom, there would have been no Shakespeare, no Goethe, no Newton, no Faraday, no Pasteur, and no Lister.
So why was Einstein in London in the first place? Well, before this speech, he had been forced to flee Germany because of the Nazis. As a Jewish man, Einstein was in danger. The Nazis were hunting him down, and he had to leave Europe for his safety. The United Kingdom, and specifically Britain, welcomed him with open arms, offering him refuge. It was here in London that he was able to speak freely. In his speech, Einstein starts by saying, "I am glad that you have me given the opportunity of expressing to you here my deep sense of gratitude as a man, as a good European, and as a Jew." What's powerful here? Einstein uses very simple language, but look at how he talks about himself, as a man, as a European, and as a Jew. This shows us how he saw himself in many ways, not just as a scientist, but as part of a larger human community. He's thanking the audience, not just for listening to him, but for accepting him in the midst of a difficult time. This gratitude is heartfelt. Then he says, "It cannot be my task today to act as a judge of the conduct of a nation which for many years has considered me as her own." Notice here, when Einstein says, her own, he's not talking about a person, but a country. In English, nations are often referred to with female pronouns. This is a tradition in the language. It's as if Einstein is saying, this country, Britain, took me in like a mother taking care of her child. And why is he saying this? Because Einstein was so thankful to Britain for giving him a safe home after the horrors of the Nazis. In the next sentence, Einstein says, "We are concerned not merely with the technical problem of securing and maintaining peace, but also with the important task of education and enlightenment." This is really important. Einstein isn't just talking about fixing problems with politics or war. He's talking about something bigger, education and enlightenment. He's telling the audience that peace isn't just about treaties and rules, it's about how we think, how we learn, and how we treat each other. Einstein's English is simple here. Education and enlightenment are words we all know, but the ideas behind them are huge. He's emphasizing that without educating people and spreading knowledge, there's no real peace. It's a call to think beyond the surface level of problems. And then in the final sentence, Einstein says, "Without such freedom there would have been no Shakespeare, no Goethe, no Newton, no Faraday, no Pasteur, and no Lister." Look at the names he mentions: Shakespeare, Newton, Pasteur. these are some of the greatest minds in history. And what does Einstein say connects them? Freedom. He's saying that freedom of thought and expression is what allowed these people to make their discoveries and create art. Once again, the English here is simple, but the message is powerful. Without freedom, there would be no progress, no new ideas, no world-changing discoveries. Einstein is making a deep point: true progress comes when people are free to think and express themselves. For students of English, this is a great example of how powerful simple language can be. You don't need fancy words to make a big impact. In fact, Einstein's choice of simple words makes his message even stronger. It shows that deep ideas can be expressed in clear and simple ways. When you speak or write in English, remember that it's not always about using complex words or phrases. It's about clarity, sincerity, and sharing meaningful ideas. So, as you continue learning English, think about how you can use simple words to express big ideas, just like Einstein did in this speech. To wrap up, Einstein's speech wasn't just about his time in Britain. It was a reminder to protect freedom, to value education, and to always think critically. And though his words were simple, their impact is still felt today. Simple English, full of meaning, can inspire change and make a difference. Thanks for listening to this breakdown of Einstein's speech. I hope it helps you see how powerful simple English can be, and maybe even inspires you to use it in your own life.